Merchant has got to be the most iconic NPC supplies dealer in any video game of all time. Utter the words, "What are you buying?" and everyone knows exactly who you're talking about immediately. Merchant made his debut in 2005 in Resident Evil 4, but 16 years later in 2021, Resident Evil Village put forth its own contender for most loved arms dealer, the Duke. Duke comes in hot with his jovial attitude and the warm meals he makes Ethan, but isn't enough to topple Merchant from his pedestal. Who was the better Merchant? Heads up. This video will have spoilers for Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Village. While you're here, if you enjoy video essays on game and character analysis, please subscribe and turn notifications on. First things first, let's take a closer look at Merchant and Duke and determine which of the two are a more beneficial acquaintance to the player. Resident Evil 4's Merchant. Despite being an iconic character, Merchant makes an understated debut in Resident Evil 4.
Over here, stranger.
He doesn't need to do much though to worm his way into our hearts. Merchant serves mainly as a gameplay mechanic for the player, selling weapons and supplies and buying trinkets and materials Leon no longer needs. He stays out of the action, though he always makes sure to set up shop before each new section in RE4 so Leon can be well supplied for each new challenge. Despite how helpful Merchant is to Leon, it should be noted that Merchant will supply anyone with the cash to buy. I know this isn't confirmed, but those Ganados have to have gotten those RPGs from someone. Who else than Merchant, who keeps them stocked up and on sale?
There are enough weapons here to get a party going.
Way to not be a real one, Merchant. Other than arms dealing, Merchant also runs a shooting range. Leon can win tons of little charms for his attaché case that grant him perks like health boosts and ammo crafting bonuses. It's so nice to be able to take a break from the waves of Ganados hell-bent on murdering you and capturing Ashley to unload your arsenal on a wave of cardboard cutouts instead. Merchant knew we'd need to let off some steam from time to time. In addition to the shooting range, Merchant also posts side quests for Leon to accomplish. Fun little diversions like shooting blue coins, classic, to defacing Ramon's portrait. Accomplishing these side tasks will reward you with spinels to trade for more trinkets and Merchant's wares. The shooting range, along with the side missions, really gives Leon so much more to do, and we have to thank Merchant for lightening up what for Leon is otherwise a very bad day. Merchant is a charmer with an infectious laugh.
Thank you.
He's always in high spirits when bartering with Leon, and it makes it such a joy to work with him. His iconic lines have been repeated ad infinitum by fans and have even found their way onto the lips of future arms dealers in Resident Evil. Our very own Duke repeats Merchant's line,
What are you buying? Just something an old friend of mine used to say.
It's so sweet Merchant and Duke are friends. It almost makes it feel wrong to be pitting them against one another like this. Almost. Resident Evil Village's Duke. Duke is the realest real one. He not only serves as an arms dealer for Ethan, he guides him on his journey to help him progress the plot. How else would Ethan have known that his daughter had been split between flasks that each of the lords and ladies held, and where those lords and ladies resided? Without the Duke, I'm sure Ethan would have figured it out eventually because he's a menace, and would have found his way to each house to harass its occupants into telling him where his daughter is, but it would have made for a much longer and more boring game. Duke cuts through the red tape and marks on Ethan's map exactly where he needs to go. He explains Rose isn't lost and just needs to have her different parts reunited in Miranda's ritual to become one again. As scary as it is to see your daughter in pieces, it's nice that Duke is quick to comfort Ethan by assuring him that this was reversible. Duke has a great attitude throughout RE8 too. No matter what's happening, he's always easygoing and ready to laugh, greeting Ethan warmly and selling his wares cheerily. Though again, Ethan isn't his only customer. Duke is such a chill merchant, he's also open for business for our main bosses of RE8, as well as the villagers in town, when they were still alive anyways. He helps supply Lady D with whatever she needs for her castle, as well as smuggled in contraband like newspapers from the outside world for the villagers. Duke's services don't stop where you expect them to either, with buying and selling goods. He's also an excellent cook, and will happily cook up any ingredients Ethan brings him. The meals he makes are so nutritious they increase Ethan's stats and grant him things like increasing Ethan's health permanently, or increasing his movement speed. Have you ever had a meal so good your base health increased permanently? I'd love to try some of Duke's meals. As mentioned before, Duke doesn't sit on the sidelines as a gameplay mechanic throughout RE8. He's a player who helps move the plot along and really supports Ethan. Towards the end of RE8, Ethan gets a little too big for his britches and Mother Miranda rips his heart out to kill him. Ethan refuses to die though, like some kind of cockroach, and Duke scoops him up and lets him recover in his carriage. Not only that, but Duke also gives Ethan a ride to where Mother Miranda was so he can confront her for a second time and get his daughter back. What a real one. The last thing we need to take a look at is Duke's motivations. Why is he so willing to help Ethan? Why does he stick around so long in a village that's clearly self-destructing? Well, Unfortunately, we get a less than real one answer to those questions. He's in it for the coin.
Duke? Why are you here?
Where there's coin to be made.
He stays in the village so long as he can wring every last coin out of the villagers, lords and ladies, and then Ethan before closing up shop and moving on. I don't know how harshly we can judge him for this, especially considering his and Merchant's motivations are one and the same, but it's not as though Duke does what he does out of the kindness of his heart. What do you think? Do you think Duke's motivation for money counts for or against him? Pricing. Lastly, let's compare Merchant's and Duke's pricings to see who was the fairer arms dealer. Unfortunately, there weren't any guns that I saw that both games sold, so I thought it'd be unfair to compare gun prices. I thought I'd look at bullet prices instead, but it doesn't look like RE4R sells bullets. It was actually pretty tough finding comparable items across both games. I narrowed things down to 3 items though. In both RE4R and RE8, you can buy a first aid spray / first aid med, the recipe for making magnum ammo, and extra space to store items in. First, let's talk about the different currencies the two games use. Merchant deals in pesetas, and Duke deals in lei. Throughout our price comparisons, I'll be showing each item as its original price and then converting it to USD. Since I live in America and converting both prices to the same dollar makes them easiest to compare. Now, I'm not an economist or an accountant, but I tried to do this right. Let me know in the comments if there's a better way to convert and compare prices though. Pesetas are 0.007 rounded to USD, and lei is 0.22 to every USD. I know I should have looked it up to see how they compare to USD in the year each game takes place and then convert that to modern money because money conversions change on the daily, but I'm not diving that far into things. For simplicity's sake, these are the conversions that we're using. In RE4, Merchant charges us 5,000 pesetas for a first aid spray, which converts to about $32.91. In RE8, Duke charges us 1,000 lei for a first aid med, which converts to $220. Already, we're seeing a huge difference in prices. To learn how to craft magnum ammo, Merchant charges us 7,000 pesetas, which converts to about $46, and Duke charges us 10,000 lei, which converts to $2,200. Lastly, we have a bigger attaché case / extra baggage. Even taking the most expensive attaché case upgrade at 73,000 pesetas, about $480.50, the Duke has Merchant beat yet again at 10,000 lei, about $2,200 USD. Obviously, money drops are reflective of the difference in prices for the items across both games, so it's not like it's impossible to meet the Duke's prices. Still though, Merchant's prices are a lot more enticing. Final considerations. The last thing that needs to be brought up is the surrounding characters for each game. It's unfair to expect Duke to stand out as much as Merchant when his competition for being a memorable NPC was a giant, thick mommy vampire and a gearhead with a dad bod. Merchant's biggest competition was Luis and Ada, and Luis dies. Ramon and the Big Cheese were fun characters to mess around with, but neither of them hold a candle to Lady D or Heisenberg. Merchant really is the standout NPC, and it makes me wonder if Duke would have been just as loved as Merchant had he had less competition from the NPCs around him. What do you think? Who was the more lovable arms dealer, Merchant or Duke? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, join us in Discord. We're always talking about video games and MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you.